Hi everybody, Reich Polo Tech here. Thanks for checking out my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to change the oil and oil filter on a commercial zero-turn mower. They're all pretty much the same, but this particular model is a Bobcat and it has a 19 horsepower Kawasaki engine on it. So let's get down to it. Alright, so here's the mower. Now the first thing that I want to do is kind of tell you what we're going to be doing and kind of show you the parts, and then I'm going to go ahead and do it. First thing I like to do is I got a box of disposable gloves here that I like to wear just to keep oil from getting on my hands, because oil's a carcinogenic and it's not good for your skin, but that's why I wear them. A couple of rags are a good idea, because when you take the oil filter off it tends to leak a little bit at least. I'm using Pennzoil 10W30, as you can see here. Mine takes 2 quarts. Or just under 2 quarts, but with changing the oil filter it's right around 2 quarts, so there's that. I also use a cap filter wrench. Goes on a 3/8 socket. I've already loosened up mine a little bit just to save time in the video, but there's my oil filter right here, and the oil plug is down there at the bottom. And I've loosened the oil filter a little bit just to save time in the video, and I've loosened the plug a little bit as well, so I can go ahead and just take them off rather quickly. But all right, let's get down to it. All right, so the first thing I like to do is take the dipstick cap here and loosen it and kind of break any seal or vacuum that might be inside the engine. And then, as you can see down there in the deck, there's a hole right there where the oil plug is, for the oil to run directly out from the plug there, down through that hole. And underneath here you can see I've placed an oil pan. All right, let's get to it. Now I'm gonna reach down in here, I'm gonna take the plug out, and it's going to start coming out. And this is why I wear the gloves, because usually I get a little bit on my fingers, and I like to sit there and I like to let the oil drain out down through, as you can see, into the oil pan. I'm going to sit there and let it drain for probably a good 5 minutes or so. I don't want to keep the video running for 5 minutes because that'll be boring to sit there and watch oil leak out, but I'm going to stop it for a second and then I'll pick it back up. Alright, so I came back after 5 minutes and I realized that the oil was still dripping pretty good, so I went ahead and walked away for about another 10 minutes or 15 minutes and came back, and now it's just barely dripping, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on. As you can see here down below the oil filter, I've put a rag down there because I know when I loosen that oil filter it's gonna leak a little bit of oil out of there for sure. It always does. So anyways, I have already pre-loosened the oil filter just to make it easier to unscrew on the video here, but anyways, it did take the the oil filter cap wrench and a 3/8 socket to do that, but I've already gone ahead and done it, so I will just unloosen it now by hand since I've already got it loose. And there will be oil inside the filter, so once you get it loose it's best to kind of just tilt it up to keep as much oil from leaking out all over the place as you can. But as you can see, it takes a little bit to unscrew it because it's got a decent little thread on it there. Alright, so we are out now, and there goes the oil that I was telling you about that leaks a little bit all over the place. Alright, so here's the old filter. I'm going to go ahead and just dump that down into my oil pan and just let it leak. This right here is why I wear the gloves, because I've got oil everywhere on my fingers now. So anyways, at this point you can see the threads that the oil filter goes on. We want to make sure when we put the new oil filter on that we do not cross thread it, so just take it easy and take it slow and make sure you get it on there, nice and square. All right, now that I've got the oil filter off, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the new oil filter. This particular one is a CarQuest brand. I got it at Advanced Auto Parts. You can get it pretty much any auto parts dealer, Anyways, as you can notice on the top of this, there is a gasket that goes around the outside of this. The first thing you want to do before anything is to put a little bit of new oil on that gasket. So I take my oil, I've got it opened up here. I get some on my finger. And I take this gasket here and I oil the edge of it right here. That helps make a good seal, and it also conditions the gasket a little bit to keep it, you know, the rubber soft. But it also helps it make a really good seal against the metal. Anyways, all right. So now, stick it in here. And I've got to contend with that hydraulic line right there next to it, but it's all right. It can pretty easily be moved out of the way. And I just start threading it on there. And thread it all the way down until it gets all the way on there. All right, and you want to make sure that this is fairly tight on there. Use your oil filter wrench and your 3/8 socket and just tighten it down to make a really nice seal against the side of the engine there with this oil filter. All right, I've got the new oil filter on there and tightened down. So next thing I'm gonna do is take the oil plug and go ahead and put that back in. Let's see here, right here. I'm gonna go ahead and thread that thing back in. All right, and you wanna tighten that down too a little bit. All right, now that the oil plug is in, the next thing we wanna do is take the dipstick, pull it out. We are going to grab a funnel now, stick it where the dipstick goes, and start filling it up with oil. I know this particular model takes about 2 quarts of oil, or maybe just a little bit less. So I'm gonna go ahead and start slowly filling up the engine with oil again. Now, while I'm dumping this in here, I want to tell you it is very important that we do not overfill the oil in these engines. You really don't want to. It can cause serious problems as far as just various problems with inside the engine if you overfill it. So I can't stress that enough. Do not overfill. If you do not know how much oil your engine takes, then you need to put in little by little and just keep checking it over and over again with your dipstick. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and start on my 2nd quart and start filling it up as well here. I'm actually going to get to about halfway through this quart, maybe 3/4 of the way through the quart, and I'm going to stop because I do not want to overfill it for sure. What I typically recommend is doing just what I said before. If you don't know how much your engine takes, do this same thing. Basically fill it up to a point, stop, take it off, put the dipstick back in, tighten it down. What I recommend is actually running the engine to let it cycle through and actually get through the engine and get into the oil filter, because the oil filter does hold a fair amount of oil. And then turn it off again, take your dipstick, wipe it off, check your level. You want it to be at the full mark. If it's not at full, add a little bit of oil. Don't add a lot at any given time though, just a little bit at a time. And then go through the same process. All right, everybody, thank you for checking out the video. If you liked the video, please subscribe and hit the like button down below. Feel free to leave comments if you'd like to, and I'll continue making videos for you guys. Have a great day, everybody, and see you later.